In this video, I'm going to show you how you can go from this to this in a small bedroom just by rearranging what's already here. If you feel overwhelmed because your videos don't look good with a messy background, bad lighting, and just feel unprofessional, I get it. Don't worry. I transformed hundreds of tiny spaces into epic studios for myself and for my clients, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that too in this video in 6 easy steps. Stay until the end because I'm going to show you even different variations.
First of all, we need to analyze the room. We need to understand what kind of angle we want to go for. Then we need to analyze the elements that we have inside the room that we can use to then transform it and make it a little bit more appealing. I want to try to make it work with everything that I have right here. Let's just give it a tour. Let's understand what kind of elements we have, and let's see if we can come up with any ideas on how to use those items. All right, let's start from the outside. This is how it looks. Again, it's a beautiful pagoda. Then we have the entrance, but I don't really care about the outside because we're just going to work directly on the inside. So this is what you see when you enter the room. We got a white wall, we got two wood walls, one on each side obviously, and then we have the key source of light, which is just the window, the door right here. Obviously we'll have to block this one out, but for now we just need to analyze the room and understand where we want to start placing our background, where we want to place the tripod, and where we're going to sit ourselves. Now one thing is that we have also a chair right here, and we have a table, so this is gonna come in quite handy. Then we have also a cupboard here that can be used as a wardrobe, and we have a TV. Potentially a TV can be used also in the background with some sort of image in case you want to add some branding elements or other things. Then on the other side we have right here, we have a mirror, we have a plant, and we have a small table. All of this could come in quite handy, I believe. Then also down here, there are some plugs, and probably there's one behind the mirror as well. So I really like this. I think we can use the mirror, we can use the plant, and we can use this as the background. Or alternatively, we can try to use this cupboard with the TV that also can be used in the background. But the problem with this is that the cupboard is quite huge, and because we have such a small space, then in comparison with my figure, if I'm very close to the background because it's big, then this will become the focus of the frame, whereas we need to avoid it. We have to be the focus of the frame. So probably we're gonna try to work with this side of things. Then another thing that I noticed is that we have bed lamps, which means that, let's see how they look, but we're gonna turn these on. Yeah, one is like this one, and then the other one is exactly the same. So probably we're gonna try to use these two on both sides just to make it as a symmetry. Maybe we're gonna use one only, let's see. So with my initial analysis, the first thing that I wanna try is using this background right here with the mirror, with the plant, and then also using the table right in the middle, in between basically where I'm gonna place my tripod, which is gonna be as far as I can. And then again, this is a background. So let's try to do that first. So I'm gonna take the chair and then I'm gonna put it right here. Then obviously we can move everything that we want. Okay, so I think this is fine. Now the table right here, then we'll be able to move it wherever you want. And then the next thing that I wanna do is try to place the tripod right here. Basically as far from me as possible, and also as far from the background as possible actually. And then we're gonna try to decide the lens that we wanna use for this sort of setup. So I'm gonna move my tripod, probably in this location right here. Now that I understood the position of the tripod, the position of myself, and also the background that I wanna try to use, I'm gonna try to have a camera and have like a little angle right here to understand how much of the background I'm actually having in my shot. This depends on the lens that you're using. And in this case, which is my favorite lens, I try to use this one all the time because it's just so amazing. I'm using a 50mm f1.2. Again, this is a crazy expensive lens, but if you want to use a similar focal length like a 50mm, I highly suggest, if you're just starting out, to buy 50mm f1.8. 1.8. So now I need to understand how much space I'm gonna actually have to design and I'm gonna use with this 50mm lens. I'm gonna place the camera right here and then I'm gonna try to understand how much space actually I'm using. Okay, that's good. So I can see that I'm using from the far right, from this point until more or less here. Obviously, the mirror cannot go right behind myself because this will basically mirror just the camera and the tripod. So the first thing that I want to do is try to place this one on one angle, on one corner, which is here, probably. And then this plant, we're going to use it on the other corner. That's awesome. And then probably we're gonna use this small table maybe afterwards, but we'll leave it here for now. Then the next thing that I wanna do is use the key light that I've brought with me.
And while I do that, I wanna let you know that
if you wanna learn more about creating an epic studio in your own room to build credibility, create better and faster content, and also close more clients and get more money,
my home studio blueprint will teach you exactly that.
More than 500 entrepreneurs already took the course and transformed their spaces. So I'm gonna leave the link down below in the description. We're currently running a promotion, so check it out. So with me, I have this portable 60 cm softbox by Nightlight, and then I'm just gonna open it up. Amazing. Then I'm gonna close it. Then as a key light, I have the Nightlight Forza 60B Mark II, which is basically smaller than my hand and is super portable, is super light, and I just love it because it's also pretty powerful. So because I'm sitting right here, then my goal is to have the light either right here where I'm now standing or on the other side. So it's camera, light, and I'm sitting right here. Again, it's gonna be a 45 degrees. So probably this angle or this angle right here. Now let's turn this one on. Cool, so we got the key light right here. Now I need to block out all the natural light. So I'm just gonna close the curtains right here. Okay, that's awesome. So now finally, we are in a more controlled environment. We have the artificial light that were already inside the room, like those two that you see right there. We're gonna turn them off in a bit, but for now, let's start designing the background. Because the camera is gonna be right there, I'm gonna be sitting here. This is the background I need to design. We're gonna try to keep the mirror right here. We're gonna try to keep the plant right there. Then one more thing that I wanna do already to try to control the camera from where I am right now is to link my iPad with the camera. So for Sony users, there is an app that is called Creators app, and that allows you to control remotely newer model cameras. So we're gonna go into Creators app and then make sure that I leave it right here, even though I can see already from my screen of the Sony a7 IV that this looks already quite decent. Now I wanna have the table right in the middle of the screen to create symmetry, so I'm probably gonna move this one a little bit more on the right. Just like that. That is great. And then I'm gonna move myself as well, probably in this position, just to make sure that I'm in the middle. Then already the key light is positioned quite well on this side right here. I wanna try to have it as close as possible right before it enters into the frame. So probably if I position it here, right now is in the frame, but then what I can do is try to make it a little bit higher. And two, there you go. And then make it a little bit further so that it doesn't enter into the frame. I think this looks fine, just out of frame. All right, so right now, regarding the exposure, I think I am a little bit too bright. So I'm gonna try to change the ISO and put it to 100. So this is the minimum ISO that I can use, and if it's still too bright, given that we need to maintain the shutter speed as it is right now at 1/50, I need to reduce the light power. So I'm gonna stand up a second, and I'm just gonna reduce the power of this Nightlight Forza 60B. So right now I'm at 45%, and I'm probably gonna go down to 20% and see how it looks. Once again, this is a 60-watt light and I am using it at 20% and see whether we get in there or not. Yes, I think this looks awesome. Now, one more thing that I need to do is to turn off all the lights that I have in my room, just to make sure that we are controlling everything. Okay, that's cool. There's not a big difference. These lights that I have right here in the room are not that bright, but already like this looks already awesome. But I think we can improve it quite a bit. And if I start looking at my framing right now, I can see that I see a little bit of the bed right here, this corner, and I don't want that because I just want to make it perfect. And also I see the plug right there in the corner. And even that, I'm not sure if I want to keep it right there. So we can try to place items in front of these two things to make sure that they're not in the frame. And with the bed, I can try to move the bed a little bit forward. So we're going to do that. Okay, that's awesome. Now the bed completely disappeared. Then one more thing that I want to do is try to cover this plug right here. And I'm going to try to use the plant in front of it. That's very nice. And this one is gone as well. Now I want to try to incline a little bit more the mirror just to make sure that I don't see the light that was reflecting in there. And now it looks way better. Yeah, and this looks already pretty good. But I want to try to take it one step further and add some backlights. And in this case, I'm going to try to use the bed lamps that I have already here in the bedroom. So I'm going to take this one that I have right here, and I'm gonna probably try to place it in this corner, just because from the image I could see that this was a little bit too dark. So I have a plug right here, which is super handy, and I'm gonna turn this one on. Yeah, that's an amazing touch. Now I don't want to cover this slide with the iPad, so probably I'm gonna move the iPad on the other side, and that's awesome. Now, one thing that I noticed is that was not planned, by the way, is that I can see that this key light is actually reflecting on the mirror and creating this beautiful effect right here as a rim light. And I absolutely love it. Now, this, I think, looks already awesome. And we could stop here. We could start creating content. If you have a lavalier mic like I have right now here with the DJI Mic 2, you can use this one to talk, or potentially we can have a different setup with maybe a podcast mic. But maybe I want to try to improve it a little bit just to play around with this room, because I think we have quite a few alternatives that we can play with. And one more thing that we can try to do is to use extra lights in the background to help us create a bit more contrast and a bit more dynamism in the frame. And to do so, I'm going to try to use some Christmas lights that I found inside the cupboard and try to place them in the background. So let me get them. So there we go. These are just normal, completely normal Christmas lights that I found right here already in the bedroom. And this is one of the coolest things that you can use together with fairy lights, because in general, Christmas lights are quite cheap. And that's why they're super handy, because they'll create an amazing bouquet effect in the background. And because I have this part of the wood here that is a little bit bigger, I'm gonna try to place the Christmas lights just right here from start to finish, and let's see whether they work or not. Okay, cool. So I placed the fairy lights just behind the mirror right here, and now we can turn them on. I have another plug right here that is out of frame, and this is it. Now let's sit down, let's see whether they work or not. And boom, this is the fact that you have in the background. Also because there is this bouquet effect that it looks awesome. But there is one thing that I'm noticing right now, is that that plant is not very visible. So maybe we can try to enhance it by using another pocket light. So first of all, I want to move it so that it goes into the frame a little bit more, just like that. This one as well, if we can. Yeah, that's perfect. And then I'm just gonna take a pocket light. This is all I have with me. One is a tube light. This is a PavoTube 6C Mark II, and this is a Nightlight Litolite 5C, and these are really, really amazing. So I'm gonna try to use a Litolite 5C to then have it in the background. And I'm gonna try to put it so that it illuminates the plant a little bit more. And right now, I just wanna do some tests and understand where can we place it so that we don't see it, it's not in the frame, but it illuminates the plant a little bit more. So let's see. Even in this case, it's just a bit of a trial and error, see whether it looks good or not in different positions. I really like it in the front though. So let's see. I think this looks pretty fire. So right now I placed the Littlelight 5C at 10% power just on the floor, so that we have a little bit more light on the plant coming from the bottom. Let's see how it works, how it looks. Right there. Yeah, this is awesome. Now, we could end it here. This looks amazing. You can already start recording like this, but we're here to try, we're here to explore. So let's try to do something else. Because we have another bed lamp that is exactly like that one that we already placed in our frame, I want to try to use the other one that we have, but use it instead of the mirror. So let's try to do that and see which one looks best. So I'm taking the bedside table and also the bed lamp. I'm gonna move the mirror away. And then I'm gonna place it right here. I'm gonna see whether we can make it work, whether we like it more than the other one, than the other setup with the mirror or not. Now, even in this case, my goal is try to have exact symmetry. So probably here, exactly opposite than the other one. So I think this looks perfect. Let's see. And this is it. This is already another setup. Again, we used just bed lamps and bed tables that we found in the room. Now, it's totally up to you whether you prefer this one or not. But what I want to try to do in this case is try to have this light, because now I don't have the reflection anymore from the mirror. So I'm going to try to move the small light on the other side, just to have it basically opposite than my key light. My key light is coming this way, then I want the other light, the backlight, coming on the other side. So I'm going to move this small table right here. Cool, and there we have it. We have moved the small light on the other side, and I think I prefer this way just because of the contrast, and I think this looks awesome. Now, let's say you want to have this setup, but instead of speaking into a lavalier mic like this one, you want to have instead a podcast mic. So here you have it. This is the Shure MV7 Plus. The coolest part about this mic is that it also has a USB-C port, which means that I can link this one to my computer with a USB-C cable, and then I can record the audio directly in my computer. And that's awesome. I also bought this podcast arm here in Bali, and I paid, I think, $4.50, something absolutely ridiculous. It feels cheap, but honestly, for the price is amazing, and I tried already, and it actually holds the mic. So this is a preferred alternative for me because I travel so much and I move around and I need to build a studio every basically month. So this is a good option, but if you're having maybe a podcast studio, if you want to create a setup and you're not planning to move that much, maybe invest in a bit of a more expensive, sturdier actually podcast arm. So what I want to do is that basically I need to try to attach this one to this table, and to do so, I'm going to remove probably this one here so that I can create a space and mount this podcast arm right on the table. Let's see if you can make it work. Yeah, and there you have it. We have a podcast mic right in front of me so that I can speak directly into it, and the quality will be super, super high. But now let's see it in practice. I'm gonna switch my iPad. I'm gonna place it next to me on the bed, just out of frame, so that I can still see myself. But then this time I wanna try to have my laptop, and probably I'm gonna use it on this side, let's say. Probably right here. I think this looks fine. And then I need to link the mic, this podcast mic, with my laptop. So I'm gonna use this cable. This is just a USB-C cable. Then I'm gonna plug it into the mic right here. Then I'm gonna go underneath the table so that no one actually can see the cable. And I'm gonna place it right here and link it to my computer. Cool, this is it. Okay, I can see the LEDs here in the mic. And now, in order to record from this mic, the audio, I just need to use any program on my computer to record audio. And the easiest one that you can use is voice memos on your Mac, on your iPad, or wherever you want. So I'm gonna open voice memos. There you go. And now I can start recording.
And this is already recording my microphone. This is amazing because as you can see right now, there is a massive difference between using a podcast mic that is super close to my mouth and instead using the lavalier mic, which is still like a great alternative. But the quality of this is incredible, especially when you have noise outside. Now, this I'm recording on a Sunday, so there's not too much noise outside, but usually I'm close to a main road and there are some work in progress things, there are some construction, and usually super loud. Well, with this mic, nothing enters. Plus, it has noise cancellation. It allows for an app to control the audio. It has the auto pop stopper and other features that I really, really like. This has been an amazing purchase for the price. So in case you want to level up your audio, I highly suggest maybe you invest in one of these. It's not extremely heavy. With this podcast arm in particular, the whole setup is quite light. It doesn't require an audio interface. You can just plug it in into your computer and it actually works amazing.
Now, I want to show you one thing in case you're deciding to go for this mic, because you want to tell your computer or your device to record using this mic. So to have the input from the microphone. And to do this, you go in System Settings, then you type Sound. There you go. And then here, you'll be able to see whether you want to use the built-in MacBook Pro microphone, or once you link this microphone into the computer or any other USB-C microphone, you'll be able to see here that you have the different input. And in my case, it's the Shure MV7 Plus. So I'm just gonna select, and then here you'll be able to change the input level in case you want, but also this microphone has its own app that I haven't even used because the audio is just so amazing. If you wanna have a super clean setup, you can also get rid of the computer. You're just gonna place it on the side, rotor frame.
And now you can record just using the microphone, using this voice recorded on the laptop. And again, it looks super cool. Now, if all of this is still a bit overwhelming, my team and I can design your own studio from scratch. We'll do all the hard work so you can just focus on creating content while looking epic. If you're interested in the done-for-you service, get in touch using the link in the description. Now, watch this video next because I transformed an ugly and small living room into yet another epic studio. See you here.